field 2 by 2. About ready to get underway with the playoffs from right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Green flags in the air. Both cars in the front row got a little assistance as they entered turn 1.
Looks like that outside line's got some good momentum.
Big run there for Austin Cindric as he takes the lead coming off of turn 4. Sliding right behind him, 16 of A.J. Allmendinger and his teammate Justin Haley in the 11 back there in 3rd. Still a battle for that 4th spot. Already Ty Gibbs working that outside line, trying to make it work as he's trying to get by Justin Allgaier.
Still fascinated. No practice for these drivers. First time on this racetrack right now.
You can really see what Jeff was talking about too. That car on the outside, when it drives into that corner real hard, it takes the air. That air is moving around on that left fender of that race car, and it pushes it up the racetrack.
Those two remain side by side for that 4th position. Allgaier down at the bottom of the racetrack. Is the bump bigger on the bottom or the middle or top of this turn?
Yes. It's everywhere. It goes from the bottom to the top.
And very close racing here as they continue to go side by side. Now the advantage to the 54 of Ty Gibbs. Can he clear him?
So right now, let's see, Allgaier is trying to get that fender to his left rear quarter pounder to pull him back. Little side draft, wasn't able to do it.
Gibbs up to 4th, Allgaier back to 5th. Cindric, Allmendinger, Haley, Gibbs, Allgaier. They're the top 5. Then it's Brandon Jones, Daniel Hamrick, Harrison Burton, 8th. Wyatt Snyder and Riley Herbst rounding out the top 10. Preferred line around this racetrack, Jeff?
It depends on how your car is driving. You can see right there, we've seen passes made on the bottom. We've seen them on the top. Ty Gibbs working the bottom. Saw Harrison Burton. He got around his 2 teammates on the outside, but then drove back to the bottom in 1 and 2. Really depends on how your car is driving and what's going on around you. See, Allgaier back to the outside of Gibbs. Remember, Gibbs just got by him.
Allgaier takes the spot back. How difficult is it looking into the sun, too, when they come out of turn 4 and right back into the sun?
I don't think it's too awful bad right now. The sun gets, you can see right here, this is the shaded part of the racetrack, riding along with Monster Energy and Riley Herbst. No sun issue right here, but as we ride along with him, you see he's on the outside of Wyatt Snyder. Lifts really early, then tries to get back to the throttle. Hear him modulating the gas. That's just grip. He's looking for grip. Right there, the sun's going to be an issue, but as they go down the straightaway, you'll see it's going to get better.
So just the exit of turn 4, a little bit difficult for these drivers to see. Dave.
And it's kind of interesting. There's not a lot of tape across the top of that windshield for Riley Herbst, as you see the 11 of Justin Haley battling with Allgaier there. But for Herbst, he was firing off too loose. He radioed to the crew, just unable to hold the position that he had. He started 10th. He now stays 10th and couldn't fend off the drivers that got around him.
So a little bit of a run there out of Harrison Burton, trying that lower line. Some pressure being added to the bumper of Haley. Allgaier right there now. Always searching for grip at this racetrack?
Always. It's just going to change. Like your car, you may want the bottom early in the run. You may want the top later in the run. If the car's loose, you might want to be on the top. You may want to be on the bottom. Some drivers are just more comfortable in one area of the racetrack than the others, and they'll try to make their car work in that area.
How much does the heat play in, Jeff, when you're talking about dirty air? When you talk about those guys racing back from 2nd on back to 12th, does that accentuate the issue of the air being even more turbulent?
It does, because what does air do when you get to another car? It takes grip away from your car. And when you already have less grip, it just magnifies that problem. So yes, it makes the heat makes it even that much more difficult.
Allgaier running that 2nd line, trying to get a little bit of momentum on Haley. Comes out of 4, crosses over to the inside. can't quite get to that left rear quarter panel to side draft him as they go into one.
I've talked to Justin Allgaier this week a little bit about racing at this racetrack, and he's become so close, two-time runner-up. What's it going to take for him to get to the checkered flag and to step up into these playoffs and be the guy we think he is? And he said it's just circumstances. He's got a great race car, race team. They do a lot of things correctly. It's just putting a race together throughout the day. And if they can get to that last stage, he feels like he's got a good chance to win.
Really loose there for Allgaier. Had to catch that race car, and Haley pulling away. Here comes Ty Gibbs. Lost a lot of momentum there.
That shows you how close to the limit they're operating on grip.
I mean, he was in a four-wheel slide when he came off the corner. Look at that.
And the workload's high in there. He's all by himself.
Hamrick had great success at this racetrack. He's had multiple second-place finishes. Still hasn't been able to find victory lane, but moving forward now for that 18.
Yeah, I like what Hamrick did right there. He had his left side tires all on the white line, getting grip. Then he jumped up on the outside of Allgaier.
Utilize a little bit of that grip in 1 and 2. Gets to the outside now of Allgaier. Kelly.
Well, we saw that big moment for Justin Allgaier in the 7 that had him moving in the wrong direction. He came over the radio and asked his crew chief, Jason Burdett, did I do anything wrong there? I really upset the right rear tire there for some reason. They said, Dad, don't worry about it. We'll get him right back. So he's just trying to refocus and regroup after a bit of a hairy moment in the early stages of this one.
About halfway to the comp caution, and they'll have the opportunity if they want to change tires at lap 25. But right now, everyone chasing after Austin Cindric. Make sure to go inside the headset with access to NASCAR Scanner for only $4.99 for the playoffs. You can listen in on the pit strategy or spotter communication, even crew chief calls. Visit NASCAR.com/scanner. You can start your subscription today. Kelly.
Well, just checking in on Justin Allgaier, we heard some radio communications from other drivers, including that of Noah Gragson, that they thought Justin's car might be leaking some oil. So the team has told Justin to watch his gauges, and we're listening in on the radio. They don't sound panicked or anything at this point, but we'll continue to monitor that.
And we did see Justin get really sideways out of turn 4, but haven't seen much of that since then.
Well, it's looking to see on the back of the car. You know, a lot of times you can look on the very back of the car, you'll see that oil will get on there because of the turbulence behind the spoiler spins the oil back onto the back of the car, but it doesn't look very dirty. But the fact that his teammate made a comment about there being something going on makes me think it's real. It wouldn't surprise me for a competitor to say, hey, the 7's got a problem, and not. But for a teammate to make a comment about it makes me believe it's real.
We heard it from Noah. We also heard it from Harrison Burton. Also said something. He thought the 7 might be leaking something.
It's just nerve-wracking. We've talked about the mistakes in the playoffs, in the Truck Series and in the Cup Series, early mistakes in the playoffs. That's what these teams are hoping to avoid.
Riding along with Haley as we look back on Noah Gragson back there. Haley holding on to the 6th spot, but just 0.2 of a second back is that 9 of Gragson, and can he make the pass on the outside? He gets a little bit loose as well coming out of 2, but does complete the pass. And now here comes the 20. And Dex imaging number 20 of Harrison Burton as he's about to go by. Hamrick has closed in on the 54 of Ty Gibbs.
Jeff, as we talked about, you know, tomorrow looking at the Cup cars, downforce versus trim. These cars, like I say, don't have as much downforce. How do you manage that throughout the day, though? I mean, are you trying to eventually tighten these cars up a little bit, or do you want them loose to be as fast as they possibly can be throughout the run?
Well, you can see Daniel Hamrick, his car has good lateral grip. If it didn't, he could not lean on it the way he just did. He just drove it to the bottom of the racetrack and easily made the pass on Ty Gibbs, and that's overall grip. That's side grip. That's the driver being able to just be aggressive as we see a battle for the lead here. But it really depends on how your car is handling. But you cannot be sliding around and making moves. You got to have enough side grip to be able to have confidence in your car.
Jeff, I want to introduce myself, Rick Allen. I don't know a lot about racing. Lateral grip, that just went right over my head. What are you talking about?
I want that when the car turns, right? When you leave the wall, when you make that left-hand turn going to the corner, I want that right rear to gain grip. I want it to just tell me, do whatever you want with this car. Drive as aggressively as you want. And when you turn into the corner, that's when you tend to get loose. I mean, the back of the car doesn't stick. That lateral grip is the right rear gets hung out, and when it does, it makes actually more grip, and it tells the driver, drive me hard, man, I want more of it. And that's what a race car driver wants. He wants his car talking to him, telling him he'll accept being driven aggressively.
These first 25 laps here are what the drivers, crew chiefs, teams, everybody wants to see. This is kind of their barometer. And we heard it from Justin Allgaier. He said, okay, this is going to dictate how the playoffs go. So far, it's been pretty tame. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of real side-by-side, roughing it up, aggressive driving. So the first 25 laps, the teams are also going to figure out how much wear they've had on these tires, what they need to do if there's adjustments that need to be made. You know, Justin Allgaier came back on the radio and said, hey, I think I, kind of made that right rear tire a little bit angry there. And obviously they're going to not only look at the tires, but also potentially some type of a leak that the 7 might have. And there is the comp caution as Austin Cindric was out front for all 25 of the laps until we got to that competition caution.
He and Allmendinger, they had driven off to like a 6-second lead over Daniel Hamrick in 3rd. So clearly right now these two have the best cars. But what I've seen in these Xfinity races, because there's no practice, there is a tremendous opportunity to make your car better. Like, there is so much opportunity to come in or pit stop, make a change to your car, and make the driver happy. And if you're running 9th, 10th, or 11th, your day's not over. Like, you got a lot of opportunity in order to get it better.
Yeah, a lot still in front of these drivers. And we talk about the drivers and maybe where they cut their teeth. Some cut their teeth in NASCAR, the Coca-Cola iRacing Series. It's already into its 12th season. The last playoff race is going to be Talladega. That's Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern on eNASCAR.com. There are 12 playoff drivers vying for one of the 4 spots in the finale. That's going to be October 12th at Phoenix. And remember, the champion earns $100,000 for eNASCAR iRacing. Dave.
Guys, all 3 Colleague racing cars prepared for this race at home. They didn't have any practice this weekend to get ready for this race. So what did they do to make sure the cars were ready, shaken down, nothing falling off, everything working? Well, Alex Jans, crew chief for Justin Haley, gets in every single Colleague car once it's ready to go to the track, puts on a helmet, puts the radio on, makes sure that everything is right on the race car. Where does he drive it? Well, around the campus of Richard Childress Racing and Colleague Racing, which is in Welcome, North Carolina. So if you see a race car on a street that's sort of off the main road there, going around and around at RCR, it's probably Alex Jans making sure everything is just right before they get to the track. And of course, once they race for 25 laps, Rick, they want to know how to adjust on that race car.
Yeah, they do. Well, we see Justin Allgaier, and he's going to make his way onto pit road. Obviously, they've got some questions that they want answered about the handling of that race car and what's going on.
Yeah, they have 5 sets of tires for today, 4 in the pit. So putting a set on now, Kelly, would put them behind later in the race.
Well, I believe this is just purely to see if they can figure out what is going on with the 7 car. You see the crew members climbing underneath it. So I don't know what other servicing they will do, if any, to this race car other than just purely trying to diagnose if they have a leak, where it's coming from.
So what they're looking at is the rear gear is back in that area. You could have a rear end grease leak. You could have grease coming out of a wheel bearing.
And a lot of times that's indicated by maybe a shiny tire on that side if there was something like that. So the crew's going to take a look at that. We'll be right back for the restart.
Before we hit the competition caution, A.J. Allmendinger looked like he was able to drive up to the back bumper of Austin Cindric, and it's almost like he sort of waved the white flag a little bit and said, you know what, maybe now is not the time to push it.
NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Visit gocreditone.com. And by Toyota. Kelly.
All right, so checking in on the leader, Austin Cindric, who's led all the laps, but always looking to get better. Here's what the team told him about the line he was running.
We're consistently better in 1 and 2. SMT shows that we're getting beat 3 and 4. That arc was similar. He just covers the line a little bit tighter.
So that was in reference to A.J. Allmendinger, who has been trailing him for the beginning of this race. Austin Cindric saying that his 22 car just getting a little bit tight to start this race.
Here's the decision they have to make. They'll go either to the inside or outside of that arrow and box on the racetrack. That's located about 2 seconds past the start-finish line. That's where they will make the determination.
All right, guys, so the first gamble of the playoffs right here. Jeremy Clemens came into these playoffs 12th, really not the pace of all the other teams he's competing against. So how do you beat him? Right? The way he's gotten here, he's run the most laps this year. He's done a great job of being consistent. But today he said, you know what? I was running 18th. I was not going to get any stage points. I'm going to put a set of tires on right here, right now. And he's going to try to drive himself through the field to see if he can get himself in the top 10 to get some playoff points by getting some stage points. So great move right here by Jeremy Clemens.
And he described Las Vegas. He said it's Sin City, roll of the dice, and already they're rolling the dice. All right, what was going on with the 7?
Could it have been the 18 instead of us?
No, I mean, I think if anything, right there, it looks like maybe it pushed a little out of the overflow on the gear, on the rear end housing, but not much. Like it might have got up to temperature and pushed a little bit out.
Yeah, so what that is it's brand new, right? It's completely full, and it just had a little bit too much, and when it got hot, it pushed a little bit of rear end grease out of the rear end, but they don't think it's a major problem. They think that is not going to be an issue for the rest of the race.
Just like a radiator, it's got an overflow?
It's not pressurized. It literally will just push it out.
Just a little bit if it's too much.
Correct.
And so that's what they think happened with the 7, getting right for the restart here. Cindric on the inside, or actually Cindric on the outside, and A.J. Allmendinger on the inside, and a wrecking one.
Oh, a big crash right in the middle of the pack there.
Oh,
Jeb Burton involved.
Is that Riley Herbst? I think I saw Riley Herbst in it.
Look to see if the 98, that's J.J. Yaley in the 17. 36 driven by Alex LeBay this week. Look at Jeremy Clemens' car.
Okay, so here's the negative to the gamble. You see Riley Herbst, he's got big damage to his car. So 3 playoff drivers in that wreck, all with big damage.
Yeah, they get down, they're going down in the corner here into turn 1, and looks like they get 3 wide. Let's see here what happens. Just comes down and squeezes just a little bit. Not enough room, not enough give. And, man, just wads up the whole middle of the field.
Yeah, they were 4 wide. We saw the one Josh Berry. It looked like he just caught the back end of the 98 of Riley Herbst, and Riley Herbst goes around.
There it all is right there.
Right there,
wide,
comes together.
Wide.
5 wide, yeah, nowhere to go. Josh Berry was stuck right in the middle and nowhere to go.
And that, we talked about Jeremy Clemens, right? And that's the negative to starting in the back. But that's about where he was. He was running 18th anyway. Let's ride along with Riley Herbst. Got this great in-car cam.
Now inside, 3 wide, inside. Big wreck here.
That's big damage. That's I have some memories from that. You see right there, they just all got crowded together.
And that's what we talked about earlier, the mistakes. Where will the mistakes be made and how will they impact and affect those around? And Jeremy Clemens is a great example. Just got caught up in someone else's mess.
And you said it before we started this race, is that drivers getting in the playoffs and saying, I got to step it up. I got to do more. I got to find a way to be better. And sometimes when you do that, you cross that edge.
There, you heard it. We're done. Window net came down. Riley's going to be climbing out of that car, Dave.
And it was the right front upper control arm that they were concerned about. Guys, you can tell us most every part is important on these race cars, but that was broken, and that's why he got the word, we are done.
Just the impatience. You would expect to see something like this a little bit more down towards turn 3 and 4 where the sun is, where you don't have as much of a visual. But this is just getting up the song here, and these guys just a little bit impatient, not giving each other enough room to operate, and boy, I'll tell you, that's a big one.
Riley's a really nice young man. He's had a tough year, and his team has been really good trying to help him. He went into this car after, this car ran so well last year, but no practice whatsoever stepping into that car for the first time, and that has been tough. 2 top 5s in the last 2 races, so coming in with some momentum, but it's not the start they wanted for the playoffs.
He was seeded 11th before the start of this race with only 1 playoff point and not the finish that Riley Herbst was looking for. We'll be back with more.
it's not any playoff drivers in a little bit of trouble here early on in the Alsco uniform 302. They're pushing his car line with the wall on to it.
Yeah, Curtis, that's just a tough day for Clemens there. Early retirement, pushing that car back to the run.
Tomorrow, Sunday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers and the 1-1 Packers visit George Kittle and that 2-0 49er team. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. Football night in America on NBC and Peacock. So the second caution of the day comes out. It was on the restart after the competition caution. And Jeb Burton came in here above the cut line at 7th in the seeding. But because of what just took place, look at what has already happened with these points. Jeb Burton 25 below that cut line, Herbst 30 and Clements 34, all drivers involved in this.
Yeah, and a terrible week for Jeb. It was announced that the sponsor Nutrient Ag is not going to come back and to this team, and that leaves Jeb not knowing what his future looks like. He loves being at Colleague. He's worked so hard to get this opportunity, done a nice job this year, but now he's in flux, Brad, and just doesn't know what his future looks like. And, you know, this is heartbreaking, right?
Yeah.
To have that, and then now this on this day, just a heartbreaking few days for Jeb.
Really a tough time for Jeb, and over the last several seasons, it's been the same. You know, it's been every season he gets to the end of the year and he doesn't quite know what he has. And he was so excited about this opportunity. Done a great job for these guys at Colleague, and you just hate to see this. It's very unfortunate, but he's a resilient young man. He'll bounce back.
Brady was excited about the race today as well. They made some changes to the car. They've really been working to try to get a setup that just works well for Jeb, and he said what they tried worked really well on the simulator earlier in the week, so he was feeling super optimistic. Now, if there's anything for him to remain optimistic about, it's the tracks ahead. Talladega, where he's got his win, and he feels very confident with this organization, Colleague Racing, who's so strong on the super speedways, and he said the Roval as well. They've always scored good stage points there, so for Jeb, he still has a lot to look forward to in these next two races of this first round.
Look at how many cars involved in this accident. So they're going to continue to clean up the fluid that was put down. But again, second caution of the race. This one a pretty big one at the restart.
Riley Herbst is going to find himself That's right, Curtis. And as a race car driver, you're never really comfortable in any of these standings. So it's important that you're charging the whole time. But survival and strategy is just super important in this whole thing. So I want to see how this thing plays out. So very early in the game, Curtis.
Just one race to go. The championship is far from done. It's time to say hello, Palou! Alex Palou wins! No way! Amazing! Yes! Pato Award is an IndyCar winner! Wow!
Oh, yes. Good, boys. Good job.
Newgarden finally does it!
That's work, fellas. Great job, boys. Very nice work.
West Coast Championship, it doesn't get any better than this.
What a day tomorrow will be for us race fans. IndyCar Championship, Grand Prix of Long Beach is going to be at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Then, of course, countdown to green for the Cup Series at 6 o'clock. A little night racing here from Vegas. That'll be at 7 o'clock. And then our NASCAR America post-race show at 10:30. So we saw those three drivers. Palou looking for a championship, Pato Award, 35 points back, but really Joseph Newgarden on the outside looking in. It's Palou, really, that he has his destiny in front of him.
He really does. Great opportunity. What a difficult racetrack. That is a very challenging racetrack. And what a great year it's been in that series. They've had some incredible races, some scary wrecks.
Yeah.
It's been a fun year.
Been a blast, and then Palou has 3 wins this season. You're looking at Award and Newgarden, they both have 2. It's actually Palou's to lose,
Yeah.
but it's also Award and Newgarden's to gain. If they can go after him, if they can win this race, one of those 2 guys put some pressure on him, they may take that championship away. But I think it's Palou's to lose.
It's been a fun season to watch. I mean, when they went to Nashville and ran the streets of
Woo,
Nashville.
that was incredible.
Such an incredible event. And just a great season for the NTT IndyCar Series. As we're getting ready for the restart, the cleanup just wrapping up here. They'll go around again before they make the decision as to which lane they're going to restart in.
So, Rick, we talked a lot about the playoffs, right? Well, we got that competition caution and then this caution, and I look up and it's 8 to go to the end of the stage.
Yeah.
Right? So there are a lot of points out there. We got, a lot of our playoff contenders, they are in the top 10, going to be racing hard on a pretty short run to try to get some points.
And it's also, the misfortune of others helps others. And then Justin Allgaier got a huge break right there. He was at the back of the, had to start shotgun on the field, had to go to the back. That huge crash right there puts him up. He gets up to 17, gets a better restarting position. Now he's almost back up in the mix.
It's going to be fun to watch what lanes all the drivers want. I think they learned on that first start that everybody wants to go to the outside, but who's going to be the first guy to pick the inside and try to pick up some spots, and then can it work for them? I mean, it's a little bit of gambling time, right? You did just see 3 of your fellow competitors that are in the playoffs have issues. And don't think for a minute that doesn't put a little bit of self-doubt in your head. Hey, I don't want to be that guy. But at the same time, if you want to get points, you're going to have to be aggressive.
Got to go get them.
One of those drivers that you said had an issue, standing by with Dave.
And that is Jeb Burton, talking to him way too soon today. What'd you see?
Some 4 wide, I guess. I didn't really see a replay yet, but not really sure why 2 cars up there, 98. I don't know. It looked like we all met there, but I don't really think we need to be 4 wide getting into 1 on lap 26. So I don't know. Nothing we could do there. Frustrating. Needed a good run today, but we'll go to Talladega next week and go win a race.
How much comfort is there knowing that that's where your win came this year and how good Colleague runs on those tracks?
Yeah, we won there earlier in the year and almost won Daytona a couple weeks ago. So I know I can go do it, and got the best team in the garage at the Speedway track. So we'll go get it done next week and then go to the Roval.
It's confident guys done for this week.
Yeah, in the hole now that he's in
When you drive a collie car and you go into Talladega and you're the defending winner, yeah, your year is not over. I mean, he can go win this race. They'll make it 3 wide on the last lap and not let anybody get by him. We saw him do it at Daytona.
Yeah.
So his year is not over, and he knows it.
We saw A.J. Allmendinger guys take that outside lane.
Yeah, you see, Gibbs was the first guy. He was running third. Allmendinger and Cindric both went to the top. Gibbs said, okay, I'll take it. I'll go to the bottom.
I love it. He's got Noah Gragson down there on the bottom with him. Hey, oh, they're going to be digging. This is going to be great. Justin Haley, I think you're right, Jeff. It's time for someone to go and try to take some spots, get some opportunity. That bottom could be it.
Another playoff driver with issues early on, and standing by with Dave.
Well, and Rick Riley Herbst knows that the restarts are key. We're going to try to get you a look at this here. What do you feel like happened here at the start?
I think just kind of old tires, slick track. Everybody kind of spun their tires a little bit. I know the two behind me got a better run than I did into turn 1, so I try to shade down and give him the room he deserved because he got through the restart box better than I did. Yeah, here we go. Jumped to the outside, tried to block a little bit, gave it back to him, and then 4 wide, 5 wide into turn 1. Doesn't always usually work out here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So that's a real bummer. We fired off pretty loose, but I thought we were going to get the South Point Ford Mustang a little bit better and have something to contend with. But I guess we'll go to Talladega where who knows what will happen.
Yeah, the hole's a little bit deeper, but how do you look forward?
I mean, the only thing really to do is go to Talladega and try to race. We've led every single plate track we've been to this year, so led some laps, so I'm a little confident in that area. It just sucks, man. Just all the support from South Point and Ford and Monster Energy coming back here, back home, and to be wrecked out like that in stage 1 just really sucks.
Rick?
They added a lap, and so coming back around again for the restart. Very unfortunate, obviously, for Riley Herbst here in his hometown.
Yeah, but after you watch that again, initially we all said the same thing, no 4, no 5 wide. But you hear Riley Herbst talking there, everyone spun their tires. Jeff, I think it was more of just a racing incident than anything. I mean, you can always nitpick, but I just think the guys were racing hard. You spin your tires, you have nowhere to go.
I think Gibbs said it the best. They all just kind of came together, right?
Yeah.
You had guys on the bottom that were kind of moving up to the top, and guys on the top that were making room for the guys above them, and they just all kind of came together. It's hard for a spot. It's hard to know if you're 5 wide, somebody 2 cars below you. It's very hard to know what's going on 2 cars on the outside of you.
Already carnage at the start of the playoffs for the Xfinity Series, and 3 drivers involved in the playoffs out. We'll see how much help Cindric will give to A.J. Allmendinger. He's right behind him as we're back underway. Hamrick pushing the 22.
Daniel Hamrick's really strong. That 18's got a lot of power, pushing that 22 really, really hard.
He's got momentum. He's going to go to the outside of the 54 of Ty Gibbs. So he's up to 3rd now. Harrison Burton also on the outside of Noah Gragson.
I think we answered a little bit there. That outside line's still just so fast, Jeff. It's really hard to slow down that momentum.
And surprisingly, Jeff, you mentioned it, only 4 laps to go now to the end of the stage.
Yeah,
and they pay the top 10 in points.
Every point matters. See right here, Hamrick getting underneath Austin Cindric.
So Hamrick up to 2nd now.
Oh, he is flying down into turn 3 too. He is coming like a freight train.
Hamrick's been fast all year long, led a lot of laps, hasn't gotten that win yet, but I really think about Hamrick and his team being really good on these 1.5 miles.
Now 3 laps to go in stage 1 as Hamrick trying to chase down A.J. Allmendinger just in front of him.
Don't know if he'll get by him, but I think he's going to catch him. I mean, he is absolutely hauling the mail, trying to run down that 16 car.
They go down Nellis straightaway. That's the backstretch here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Nellis Air Force Base, just off of the backstretch here. Coming up on 2 laps to go in stage 1. The gap still about 0.4 of a second.
Could be a prelude. Remember these guys in March, AJ and Hamrick finished 1 and 2. Daniel had a strong day that day, led 74 laps, just had a couple of mishaps and got away from him, so it's a big day for him. And I picked him to win. So
I was going to say, Brad, I know you also have said that he's going to get his first win potentially right here.
Absolutely.
And coming up on 1 to go now for this stage 1. Gap still right around a half a second between Allmendinger and Hamrick.
AJ uses that lap car to, as a little bit of a chicane there. Smart veteran move by the driver.
So Allmendinger, Hamrick, Cindric, Gibbs, and Gregson, the top 5. Again, those running for a championship in the Xfinity Series will get points in the top 10. And it looks as though it's going to be another stage win for Allmendinger. That's another playoff point.
Experienced race car driver in AJ Allmendinger, smart race car driver, taking advantage of the opportunities.
So of the playoff drivers that are not wrecked, Myatt Snyder, Justin Haley, and Allgaier, they're the 3 that did not get points.
AJ Allmendinger, after the wreck right after the competition caution, he was out front, didn't get affected by it, and wins stage 1 at Las Vegas.
Points after stage 1 here in the Alsco uniform 302. AJ Allmendinger picks up 10 points. Daniel Hamrick 9, Austin Cindric 8, then Ty Gibbs, Noah Gregson, 6 7 and 6 points in the first stage. Harrison Burton coming home at 6, will pick up 5 points, and then Ryan C drives 39-4. Brandon Jones 3, John Berry 2, and Brett Thompson.
Absolutely, but not just that, but picking up those stage points so critical at this point in the year, Chris. You can see those guys race hard.
Well, we got Riley Herbst at the Air Center. We're going to go down to the phone.
That.
Wheelman. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Visit GoCreditOne.com. And by Ford, built Ford proud. Stage 1 complete of the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs from Las Vegas. The Alsco uniforms 302. Take a look at the stage points for the drivers. Allmendinger, Hamrick grabbing 10 and 9 respectively. Cindric 8. Again, a playoff point is awarded for a stage win, so that's another one for AJ Allmendinger. Only 6 of the 12 playoff drivers got stage points. Let's go check in with our Hall of Famers down on pit road. Actually, before we do that, it looks like the cars are about to come to pit road, and so Haley's coming down, also just in front of him. Everybody's coming down. Allmendinger's leading the way. Kelly.
And that's Austin Cindric in the 22 all the way down at pit in. He'll stop short for an easier exit off pit road, but he said he was a little bit tight, needs to be at about a half number freer. They're going to make a small chassis adjustment and an air adjustment, Dave.
Daniel Hamrick is second in the 18. said that right front is hurting me. It's a bit too tight. Still a little wiggle in the back of the car. He'll get an adjustment for that. 4 Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel. On the bottom of your screen, stage winner A.J. Allmendinger. Early on in the run, he thought the right front was down, the back of the car was bad, but as it cycled through, the car was much better. He said the back of the car is really solid, just a little bit tight going into each turn.
Here they come off the pit road. Looks like Hamrick with a great stop. That team gets him off the pit road in front of A.J. Allmendinger. Brandon Jones, 5 spots on pit road. Harrison Burton grabbed a couple as well. Now let's go to our Hall of Famers on pit road. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dale Jarrett.
Yeah, DJ, it's been pretty eventful first stage here, and it's really mimicked what we've seen in the Cup Series. It's all about survival. We're seeing the names that we anticipate seeing at the front of the field with AJ and Cindric and Hamrick, but these guys getting through this first round, I think it's just all about not crashing, not doing anything stupid on pit road, and just having a good day.
Yeah, but once they throw that green flag on these restarts, we see them 3, 4, and almost 5 wide there, and things are going to happen there. The other thing that I saw was Ty Gibbs, Ryan Sieg, Josh Berry, and Brett Moffitt taking valuable points away from some of the other playoff drivers. So it's going to continue like that. This is going to be a battle, but making mistakes is the worst thing you can do in this first round.
Well, the ones that aren't making mistakes, you look at the cut line, guys around it like a Myatt Snyder. This is an opportunity for a driver like that who's young, looking to make a name for himself in this series, to try to take advantage of the misfortune of these drivers and try to move beyond this round. It's a great opportunity for guys like him.
Yeah, it really is, and he was 3 wide there at that last lap of that stage to try to get 1 point there, but Myatt did a great job setting himself up here for hopefully a good run.
Well, one of the drivers involved in that crash, Jeremy Clements, is going to suffer a lot of lost points in his chance to advance into round 2. Dave's caught up with him.
Yeah, Junior, and others made mistakes in front of Jeremy Clements, who appeared to have a good plan. Come down, get fresh rubber, but then he got caught up. What'd you see?
It's all hell broke loose. Man, I'm just shocked. I'm bummed. We didn't even get to see what our first Pacific Funding Chevy was capable of. We were really loose start, got tires. I feel like I was gonna come on the outside and blow through half of them right there and go up there and get some stage points. But that didn't work out. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see if our first Pacific Funding Chevy would be as fast as Xfinity Internet. I hate it for Steve Carnes, Jeff O'Day, everybody. It was Vivian's birthday, the boss's wife. It was her birthday today, so we didn't do a good job. But wow, yeah, it looks like a freaking wreck at Daytona. But hate it for our guys, hate it for our partners. We'll just be strong next week and try to rebound somehow.
Were you in full shade, or was the sun any factor coming down the straightaway into that?
No, past that point we were fine. It's just coming off 4 where you couldn't see great. But yeah, I didn't have any problems with that then.
All right, on to Talladega for Jeremy. A chance to dig out when he gets there, guys.
Unfortunate for Jeremy Clements. When we talked to him earlier this week, he made the comment, there's nothing to lose. You know, they're the underdogs. 4 full-time employees with that organization, and they're hoping to get anything they can out of these playoffs.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right here. We've got Noah Gragson got penalized, drove through too many boxes, getting into his pit box. That's a big penalty for him. They had a good pit stop, they had good track position.
My steering wheel popped off on pit road, film that.
39
Whoa.
also.
You hear what he just said?
Yeah, steering wheel popped off. Those lock in.
So now we're talking,
right?
that's just what we're talking about earlier in the show, though. Mistakes, okay? Mistakes. And then you look at the converse side of that. A.J. Allmendinger just wins his 10th stage, the most of anyone this season. He continues to put the building blocks in place to win this championship. Everyone else making these small mistakes.
Well, listen, that's a mistake, but the fact that it came off on pit road and not on the racetrack is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, how it came off, I don't understand how it could have come off if it was never latched. That could have been catastrophic. Front row here, both of these guys, they pitted earlier. They were involved in that incident. Both of them took 4 tires. Ty took 4 on lap 37. Brown took 4 on lap 33. So the front row on older tires.
And they chose outside and inside here. So Ty Dillon in the 31 on the outside, and Brandon Brown, 68, will be on the inside for the restart. Hamrick will be on the outside of lane 2. Fresher tires there for Daniel Hamrick. Spinning the tires, Brandon Brown. A.J. Allmendinger can't get out of line. You're not allowed to get out of line before the start-finish line, so he had to stay behind Brandon. Brandon Jones in the 19 is going to make a move on the high side to get by and move up to third. Here comes Harrison Burton in the 20, looking to the inside also. 3 wide behind him.
Brown putting up a good fight on those older tires.
Hamrick right on the back bumper now of that 31 of Ty Dillon, trying to take the lead away from him. He goes to the high line. Probably just a matter of time before Hamrick's able to get by with the fresher tires.
Look at this mess.
3 and 4 wide behind him. Again here at Vegas.
Jeff, why at this point would you be racing this hard at the beginning of stage 2 if you're these guys? I mean,
there's no choice. I mean,
yeah.
you got to go. Like, look at Allmendinger. Look where he was a little bit ago. I mean, he is falling way back. I mean, you just got to go. You got to match the gas and get all you can.
Allmendinger still trying to get by that 68. Finally, he does. He moves to the inside. Myatt Snyder on the inside there as well. But look at the momentum A.J. Allmendinger's carrying off the turn. And a caution's come out.
Yeah, they're spinning off turn 2.
Sieg in the 39 as the back bumper coming off. Must have been some contact there.
The bumper cover off of the back of it.
Ryan Sieg, another one of those family-owned teams. Only 7 full-time employees for the 39 team.
Gets down in the corner and just comes around on him, Jeff.
Yeah, just loose. I talked about that lateral grip. That's what it looks like when you don't have it. It just, you know, nothing to lean on, and just round it goes. Fortunately, it's all right there. Yeah, I can't tell who that is that got into him. Jake Buford, maybe?
Possibly the 48. And so damage to the 39. The caution back out once again, meaning another restart, which has been crazy here at Vegas.
So the caution flag is out for the 4th time. Ryan Sieg by himself got sideways up on the top of the racetrack in turns 1 and 2, spun down the track a bit, got clipped in the back, and there's a lot of damage there. We'll get the update for you when we return. You're listening to PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Are you ready to win $25,000? Well, the free-to-play Jackpot Races app is here to make that happen. With expert analysis, live in-race tracking of your picks, your racing experience will hit the jackpot. Go to your Apple Store or Google Play and download the Jackpot Races app today. Kelly.
Rick, just a quick update on the 19 of Brandon Jones. He had been running third when we went to break. They came to pit road under this yellow. Brandon felt a vibration that had not previously been there in the car. They brought him to pit road, topped him off with fuel, and hit the lug nuts on the right rear. Crew Chief Jeff Mendering just telling Brandon, hey, we had one wheel in question. We didn't want to take any chances. He will now restart 22nd. But Brandon said on the radio, that is the right call.
Big picture, looking at that. And Jeff, this restart was so critical for so many of these drivers.
Well, check out Justin Allgaier back here in the 7, but look at in third position. Look at Allmendinger, right? So here they go. Brandon Brown has older tires. They drop the green flag. A.J. Allmendinger wants to make a move, but he can't. By rule, you can't change lanes until you get to the start-finish line. He couldn't do anything. He had to slow down. So then Justin Allgaier, as soon as he got to the line, because he had forward momentum, he just drove to the bottom. And now Allmendinger's stuck in the middle, right? So he's got Harrison Burton on the outside of him, Ty Gibbs coming. Now he's got Allgaier on the bottom. I mean, look at Cindric coming up on the outside. He's stuck on the bottom with negative momentum and lost a ton of spots. But there's nothing he could have done different. There really is not a thing you can do. You can't pass till you get to the start-finish line, and you just got stuck behind him, Dave.
As you would imagine, that made AJ just a little upset.
Have any damage on the front? I mean, I was locking the front brakes up, trying to not run into them. No damage, man. All good. All good. Same guys every week. It's the only time he can get on TV, so it's all good, dude. Take a deep breath.
I'm telling you, this first stage plus has been quite an adventure for AJ. Not sure about his car early, but fast wins the stage. And then right there, that could have been the end of the day, or at least slowed down his progress. Now he's got to make it back from his current running position of 10th.
We have to remember that when these playoffs started, 44 points for A.J. Allmendinger and the 22 of Austin Cindric. The gap is not that wide between first all the way down to 12th. So every point is mattering for these drivers. They don't want to fall below that cut line.
Well, that's exactly right. We've talked about the gap that, over in the Cup side, Kyle Larson has been able to create. The gap that Cindric and Allmendinger, they haven't been able to create that gap because they've both been winning races. They haven't, they've spread that wealth. So they haven't created the gap like we see in the Cup side. Now listen, a caution is good for some people and bad for others, always. One winner in that was Noah Gragson. Noah Gragson got penalized driving through too many boxes. That caution came out. Now he's back in 14th. So that caution helped him get caught up.
That did. That gave you some track position. But if you think about it, we're talking about that gap. We've only been through 2 stages, and we've got 6 playoff drivers that have had problems. So that gap could be widening through self-carnage.
All right, getting ready to choose inside or outside. It looks like Daniel Hamrick's going to be on the front row. He'll be on the inside. Ty Dillon will be on the outside.
I honestly think that took Harrison Burton by surprise. I think Harrison Burton thought that Daniel Hamrick was going to go on the outside. He went to the bottom, and I think if Harrison had to do that again, he would have taken the top. I really think he thought he was going to the top.
So Daniel Hamrick still has not won in any of the 3 series of NASCAR, and he's run in all of them. And Brad, you had this pick earlier, and Denny Hamlin's going to agree with you. It's DH's night. I feel it.
Yeah, right. But Denny's a brilliant race car driver, brilliant mind, another Mensa member. So we all think alike. Way to go, Denny.
Well, Denny Hamlin might be talking about
Denny Hamlin
at the tables tonight. He might be
talking about himself.
I'm not picking Denny at the tables, but I'm picking him tomorrow. How about that?
Yeah. Well, Daniel Hamrick looking for that first win. He said, their weaknesses have been, maybe they've been a little too content, but he said their strengths is that they're hungry. They are very hungry to get that win.
You can hear it in his mind. You can hear it in Daniel's voice when you talk to him. He wants to win that race so bad, and this is a great opportunity.
Daniel Hamrick, this is a great opportunity for him. We know that Ty Gibbs has older tires on the outside, but he's got to get a great launch. It all starts right here in the Skyco restart zone is when he's got to get a great launch to get by Ty Dillon.
So Dillon on the outside and Daniel Hamrick on the inside. Going for the restart again. 31 laps to go in stage 2.
Much better restart, guys. And another thing to think about, you can see the shade. The shade is on the front stretch. So, Jeff, as you pointed out earlier, there's a little grip coming in as that track cools off just a little bit. We saw better restart, not as many tires spinning.
So Daniel picked that inside. Look at this move.
Josh Berry in the 1. subbing for Michael Annette.
Haven't we seen enough moves? Haven't we? I mean, we can't even get a half a lap. We're talking about looking at this move. Just relax, guys. Just a couple of laps.
Here comes Harrison Burton on the outside. Hamrick falling back now. He's fighting for fourth. Cindric on his outside.
Cindric right there on that right rear quarter panel. That makes Hamrick's car very uneasy on corner exit. Car moves around a lot, doesn't make grip.
Here comes Ty Gibbs in the 54, also putting pressure on that 18.
How about the number 1 of Josh Berry, guys? I mean, this guy, national champion last year, gets a great opportunity, takes advantage of it. In this race today, subbing for Michael Annette, and is doing a heck of a job.
And watch out, 2022, he's going to run full time. That man's going to be a threat for the championship.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
Yeah, got his first win at Martinsville running for Junior Motorsports.
Hey, we can talk about that a lot. That's cool. But Ty Dillon leading this race on a little bit older tire, doing a great job out in front of this pack. Look who's behind him. Some of the playoff favorites. He's able to keep them behind him right now. Great job.
Saw Hamrick take the apron there. Nothing's off limits here at Las Vegas.
Jordan Anderson, car owner for this car. Truck owner, driver. He's come to the Xfinity Series. He's put a lot of really good race car drivers in his cars to help build this race team.
Interestingly enough, Ty Dillon went from Cup Series driving to not knowing what he was going to do. This is his 4th straight start in the Xfinity Series. That's the longest run he's been on this season. And right now, he's trying to hold off a run by the 7 of Justin Allgaier.
Oh, he's loose. You can see that back of that car dancing around. Hey, you get a guy like Ty Dillon that was in the Cup Series like you just mentioned, got moved out of the Cup Series trying to earn his way back in, ran some races for Joe Gibbs Racing early this year, didn't go well. He's going to be a hard pass.
Yeah,
this guy right
this
here
is a big
racing
deal
for his life.
This is a big deal, Jeff. You're exactly right. Ty is up on the wheel. He is going to drive that car as hard and make it as wide as he possibly can. He knows we're talking about him right now. So he's going to take every opportunity to let his star shine, and he's doing a great job right now.
A lot of battles all the way around the racetrack. Let's listen into Harrison Burton as he's talking about the 7 in front of him.
Big car's leaking oil again. What's new? Tempo copy. May not be good to offset right then. May be good to stay bottom.
So once again, Harrison is saying he thinks the 7, there is fluid coming out of it.
See, Allgaier jumped on the outside of 1 and 2, was able to get to that right rear quarter panel with Ty Dillon. Ty just couldn't put up a fight.
Jeff, when Harrison makes that comment, is that something on the windshield you're seeing, and you're saying, okay, it's got to be coming from the 7?
He's seeing it on the windshield, and he may be feeling it on the racetrack as well. You heard the spotter say, okay, then offset, maybe offset to the right, trying to help him get out of that oil. Back in the field, Joe Gibbs Racing teammates.
Oh, wow.
I think Hamrick just thought that Ty Gibbs was going to go out further to the wall right there. You can see Ty is loose.
Takes a little bit of air off that left rear fender.
No harm, no foul, man. It's just racing.
Racing hard, racing hard.
You see the yellow stripe on that number 54 is Austin Cindric. Makes the move past Harrison Burton now and takes that spot away. Here comes the 54 of Ty Gibbs. That's the grandson of Coach Gibbs. 3 wins already in 2021.
I wonder what's going on with his 20 car right here. He was just battling for second, and now he has fallen through the field. Looks really slow right now. Something's going on.
Jeff, he's been quiet on the radio so far, but we'll monitor it.
Well, that's not like a Burton.
First time a Burton's been quiet on the radio, and really close call there. Once again, teammates, as we saw Hamrick get right up next to that left rear quarter panel of the 20 of Burton. And so Harrison Burton, as he continues to fall backwards, now Josh Berry's going to try to get by him.
Yeah, something's going on here with this 20. I mean, he lost like 5 spots in just a couple laps.
Nice bounce back like we talked about for Noah Gregson. He's already up to 8th, 7th. He's cruising back up towards the top 5. And we pointed out earlier on, you know, Allgaier had a mistake and had an issue, had to come down pit road, had the accident. He took advantage of that. He's got himself right back into the mix, and he's out front pulling away.
Update on the 20 guys. He just radioed in as he was going out of turn number 2, very loose. And Jeff, to your point, that was somewhat of a sudden occurrence, remember, because he was riding behind the 7 at a little bit of a distance, worried about that oil, but then all of a sudden he knew it was his car that had the problem loose.
Yeah, he was hoping it was oil.
And here comes Brett Moffitt in the 0-2. He's going to go by on the outside. Moffitt, a Truck Series champion, now running full-time in the Xfinity Series.
So the trouble right here with the 20, we talked about points all day long and how important they are. Well, this stage, you can see right here, 26 of 45 in this stage, and Harrison's running 7th, and as slow as he is right now, he could fall out of the top 10.
Coming up on 19 laps to go in stage 2. Allgaier is out front. Ty Dillon has fallen back to 2nd. Cindric, Gibbs, and Hamrick all inside the top 5 as we go NASCAR nonstop. Make sure to download the official app of NASCAR. You can follow the action with free live scoring. There's in-car cameras and radio broadcast. Search NASCAR in your app store to download and start a free trial if you'd like tonight. Up front, it is Allgaier. He has a 1.6 second lead over Ty Dillon. And back to Cindric, Gibbs, and Hamrick. They're all in the top 5. Want to get a few updates as we still have just under 14 laps to go, now 13 in this stage. We'll start with Dave.
Rick, how about a little Toyota driver update, and that'll be about the driver of the 54, Ty Gibbs. First time he's seeing Las Vegas Motor Speedway in any racing car. Crew Chief Chris Kisdale was telling me earlier today he was very impressed with all the film watching that Ty did this week, and he could tell he did that because of the questions he brought to Chris. They were things that you wouldn't find any other way than spending hours watching tape and understanding this racetrack and how an Xfinity car runs here. Good job by the 18-year-old so far today. A little bit of a tight race car running in fourth. As for the 0-2, Brett Moffitt, not in the playoffs. Remember, he was point-starved all year long because they didn't run the first 7 races as Xfinity Championship contenders. But he was always hopeful that he'd win to get into the championship playoffs. Didn't happen. So now guess what the rest of the year holds out? Win if you can. Brett Moffitt running in the top 10, Kelly.
And working the inside, trying to get around Brett Moffitt is that number 1, and Josh Berry, who continues to fill in for Michael Annett. Well, Michael Annett recovers from surgery following a fracture. Well, Josh told me he's treating this much like a playoff race as well. This car is still in it for the Owners' Championship. And Dave, just as you reported on Ty Gibbs at the top of the show, he thinks this will be a very valuable experience. He'll get a sense for next year when he is full-time with Junior Motorsports of how the playoffs pick up. So he told me he was treating this not just because the car number 1 is still in the Owners' Championship, but he's looking to gain some playoff experience from this as well.
A lot of drivers looking at that possibility of playoff experience, knowing that they'll be coming back running full-time next year. We mentioned Josh Berry, one of those. Want to listen in to AJ Allmendinger's radio in that 16.
Smooth. Stuck here. Here we go. We done lost him again. It's like a freaking chess match, man. It's like we didn't mean to get back there. You know what I'm saying, Frankie? It's like we didn't say, oh, let's go to 10th. I'll put the pin back in the grenade. Hold on just a minute.
That's Channel 2 chatter among the team. That team has been known to talk off channel from the driver, and right there it was, hey, we've lost him. We got to get this driver's head in the game. It's an AJ Allmendinger trait that he needs to focus on that, and so sometimes President Chris Rice will talk about getting that driver back in the show on Channel 2. That's what that was all about.
Yeah, you know, I have a lot of experience with AJ. He drove for my Cup team for several years, and the one thing, AJ is so talented, ultra talented, but he can get a little bit down on himself. And Chris Rice does a great job of talking to AJ and getting him back up on the plane, so to speak. And it's tough, man. And Jeff, you know better than any of us. Driving these race cars is not an easy thing to do. Sometimes it's not going your way, but being positive is huge when you're struggling.
Well, right now he's struggling.
Take a deep breath, fan. Just settle in and take what it gives you right here. We'll fix it. Ain't gaining nothing being frustrated.
Watch his hands here, Jeff. He's not happy at all.
Well, look.
Woo,
I mean,
wow.
Look at the workload in there. I mean, he's
screaming
sideways. I mean, you know, he drives underneath Haley, and yeah, he's frustrated. I mean, look at his hands. Look at the hand movement, and he's not happy. And you know, listen, I know this part of this game is mental. But you know what makes a driver get in the right place is a good driving car, and he ain't got it right now. I mean, you know, this isn't all about a driver just having to be in his happy place. What puts him in the happy place is a good driving car, and they've lost it. They don't have it right now.
He's able to pass Haley there. Almost a slide job there for AJ Allmendinger. Here comes the momentum once again for Justin Haley. We'll see if he'll repay the pass. Can't do it as he goes the high line, and once again, AJ down on the bottom of the racetrack again. These two fighting for the 9th position with just 6 laps to go in stage 2.
Well, and it's frustrating because, you know, one thing we know about Allmendinger is he's paying attention, and he knows the biggest competition for this championship is that 22 of Cindric and that 7 of Allgaier. And where are they running? 1st and 3rd. So that's part of the frustration as well.
And as we get down to these last few laps, the entire racetrack is in the shade. So, Jeff talked about it earlier, grip, grip, grip. We're going to start this last stage probably a little bit cooler than, obviously a little bit cooler than we started today, maybe 5, 6, 8, 9 degrees. Going to be under the lights, cooler racetrack. How do you keep up with the racetrack? What happens? And is that what's happening to AJ's car? Is it just losing overall grip as the track starts to cool off just a little bit?
Allmendinger once again fighting in that 9th position. Haley's just behind him in 10th. Allgaier, Ty Dillon, Austin Cindric, 1, 2, and 3. Noah Gragson, Ty Gibbs. They're all in the top 5. And you're putting points in the bank at the end of every stage. Those points that you win at the stage, they can't take them away. You wreck out of this race, those points are still yours. And so that's the thing that these drivers that are in the playoffs, they want every point they can get to put in the bank.
Yeah, right now you got Harrison Burton, Maya Snyder, Brandon Jones, of the 3 guys that are not going to get any points in this stage if it continues.
Allgaier threading the needle here as he goes in between 2 lap cars. Allgaier coming up on 2 to go now in stage 2. So many of these playoff drivers mention the difficulty of this first round of the playoffs for them. You come to Las Vegas, a 1.5-mile racetrack. There's going to be 2 more 1.5-mile racetracks of the 7 races that are run in the playoffs in Texas and Kansas, but this is really setting the tone. Then they go to Talladega for the 2nd race. Every driver mentioned that, the word chaotic, when you go to Talladega. And then it depends on how you feel about road racing when you go to the Roval in Charlotte.
Could be the same. Could be chaotic there as well, and probably will be.
As Allgaier on the top of your screen, looking to grab his 3rd stage win of the 2021 season. And Cindric trying to get by Ty Dillon for that 1 more point. If he can get up to 2nd, that's another point that he can gain in this stage, and momentum carries Allgaier across the start-finish line, winning the stage, and Ty Dillon coming home 2nd. Austin Cindric will be 3rd. Las Vegas native Noah Gragson is 4th. Daniel Hamrick is 5th. Daniel says this is kind of a second home for him after so much of a great relationship with the Gahn family here in Las Vegas. Some pretty tight racing in stage 2. More playoff drivers experiencing difficulties, but no problems for Justin Allgaier.
It's certainly looking that way right now, Curtis. Is Lady Luck riding with Justin Allgaier tonight? So far, so good. But you know what? We got 111 laps left to determine that, Curtis. Ty Dillon has they're talking to him down at driver production, and I told him Cap, since he's kind of a cool customer, he lives in racing, he was talking. He showed up tonight. He's running executive. Absolutely, and we saw that run there in the end. He wasn't giving anything up. You know, he wanted those points, and you know, look at the second half of this. Josh Berry, Ty Gibbs, Brent Moffitt, Allmendinger up there. You know, had a good car at the beginning of the race. I was watching that car. On that curve. More of that later on tonight, you know, as this track tightens up and cools off. Boy, we lost that sun, you know, in no time at all. Let's take a look at the replay on the media board on pit road. The report was that Dean Moore had a little bit of a
Next Saturday, NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs continue from Talladega Super Speedway. Again, all of the playoff drivers have mentioned chaos when they head there. That race coverage at 4:30 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. Teams getting ready to make their way onto pit road. Crews getting ready to go to work. One more stage remains at Las Vegas in this first race of the playoffs. Kelly.
Austin Cindric will be the first to pull into his pit stall. He was running third, and he got pretty animated on the radio. Just feels like they don't have a motor, but the balance on that 22 car really good, so they're going to leave it alone unless they can get a little tape on the grill. The 7 in the middle of your screen, meanwhile, is Justin Allgaier. Pits from the lead. He said he was good everywhere except 3 off turn 4 getting into 1, Dave.
7 stage points for Noah Gragson, and he will. He told his crew really not to change the car. Feels like later on he might need an adjustment to free it up a little bit to keep up with the track, but he's been pretty happy with that 9. Remember, came back after being shuffled back into 21st position.
Once again, you don't want to make mistakes on pit road. Allgaier, he's able to stay out front. Cindric grabs a spot. Hamrick grabs 2. We'll be back for the restart. You're watching NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs from Las Vegas. It's the Alsco uniforms 302. Lights on here in the first race of the first round for the Xfinity Series playoffs. And for more, let's go back to our Hall of Famers. DJ Dale Jr.
Thank you, Rick. Yeah, DJ, this is always a fun racetrack, I thought, when we would come here, and one of the reasons why I enjoy it so much is because you can basically run anywhere on the racetrack you want to, or wherever your car feels the best. And we see a lot of these guys running right on the fence, trying to make time, especially up in turns 3 and 4. Ty Gibbs lost a few spots coming to the finish of this stage, got a little bit loose getting into turn 3. We see him trying to maximize all the speed and potentially can, getting against the fence there. Turns the car sideways, does a great job staying out of the wall, but there's a little smoke underneath that car. I don't know if there was some damage done.
Yeah, a little damage possibly there. He should have talked to you because you were one of the best running up there to that high line. Had to get out of it a little bit early and make that work. Very interesting, though. Noah Gragson did a very good job of coming back from that penalty, pit road speeding penalty that he had in that first stage, or at the end of that as they came back to start stage 2. But you keep making mistakes, things are going to happen and it's not going to work in your favor. So I think that's the biggest thing. That we talked about it, and we can't stop talking about mistakes that these drivers are making.
Yeah, and who's at the front of this field, it's anybody's race right now. We saw AJ dominate stage 1 and then disappear in stage 2. So, Rick, we really don't know who's going to win this one. Could be anybody's.
Yeah, and we mentioned mistakes. They can't happen. And so far, Noah Gragson, once again, a speeding penalty on pit road. Welcome you into the booth. We wanted to, show you how this booth is more or less built. Well, right now, Brad and I are actually seated.
Yeah, you got taller.
Jeff, I'm sorry, Jeff, you're standing, right, Jeff?
Listen, the average American male is 5'9". You guys are freaks.
We have a lot of fun. Our point guard, Jeff Burton, up here with us as we're back to racing. The final stage underway. Allgaier, Hamrick, Cindric, Gibbs, and Haley were the top 5, and Allgaier using that outside line again, and it's working for him. Cindric trying to do the same.
Look at Allmendinger. We saw him struggling. That move on the bottom got him back up to 4th.
Fighting for 3rd, Allmendinger has the spot now. A frustrated Allmendinger in stage 2. Maybe the handling of that car is coming back to him.
Well, I'm thinking it's short run, guys. I think he has a really strong short run race car. We saw that last run. I mean, it got strung out. It got to where it was a long, long run, and the car went away. I think right now he's good. Let's see what happens 15 laps into this run.
This final stage, the longest. 103 still to go in the final stage. We see Josh Berry in the 1, making that outside line work for him. When we had gone away to break, we saw the 54 of Ty Gibbs. Thought there might have been a little bit of smoke coming off the right side of that 54.
It looked like he hit the wall, but he did.
Don't see much damage unless just a little bit on the right rear quarter panel. But these composite bodies are very tough. Dave.
By the way, the team does not believe he hit the wall. The 54 trucks on. As for the 2 of Myatt Snyder, he does as well. Solid pit stop, nice shoes, has him in the top 10. But before he came to pit road, a bit of an issue. Listen.
You guys have me now? I got you, Myatt. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, my damn earbud plug came out and I couldn't put it back in quick enough when I realized what the problem was coming to pit road. So hope I didn't miss anything.
The earbud is just what you think it is. It translates all the material that he needs to know inside that helmet, inside that loud race car. When it pops out, Jeff Burton, I have to imagine that is no fun whatsoever.
I don't know how he got it back in. Whenever I had a problem when it would come out, I never could get the thing back in my ear, and it was so loud. So I know he's glad to get it back in, not just for communicating, but the day I lost it, I couldn't hear him out of my ear for like 3 or 4 days. Explains a lot better, Rick.
What was that again? Oh, that's right. Kelly, what's happening with the 31?
Well, you can see Ty Dillon there in that battle for 11th with Harrison Burton, and you might remember that before the caution came out, he had been running second and done a nice job staying up on older tires. They've got a little bit of damage to this car, but he has fallen back a number of spots because of a little bit of a miscue on pit road. Ty actually tried to pit in the wrong pit stall, so that set him back. I believe they lost about 8 spots just on that pit stop, and that's why he's kind of mired back there now in 12th.
And again, Ty had been running up front as he has now fallen back. Ty and Harrison fighting for that 11th spot right now. Allgaier, Cindric, and Allmendinger 1, 2, and 3. A couple drivers not fighting for the championship as far as the playoffs. Ty Gibbs and Josh Berry, they're currently 4th and 5th. And 4 more playoff drivers in Hamrick, Myatt Snyder, Justin Haley, and Brandon Jones, the top 9. Brett Moffitt rounding out that top 10. Fuel window will say that they'll all have to come back to pit road at least one more time. Can't make it all the way to the end of this race on fuel. And we'll see if we have a long run. And Brad, what you were talking about with AJ Allmendinger, is it a short run setup car. And will he get frustrated once again, like we saw the frustration in stage 2? Justin Haley currently holding on to the 8th spot right now, Kelly.
And he told me earlier today, Rick, that he felt like they had the fastest car here in the spring race, but they got caught up in a wreck, so they don't really have the results to show for it. So he was feeling really optimistic coming into this race. But Justin's been pretty vocal over the radio. He said they're experiencing the same issue they've had recently at racetracks. At first, he was just too bound up, just way too tight. Said he was plowing at one point, and then he said he just couldn't trust the right rear, so he couldn't really lean on that car. So in this last pit stop, one of the adjustments they've made, Dave, is to try to help free him up and make him a little bit quicker on a short run, helping that pays off in the long run, Dave.
Kelly, one of the interesting things about Allmendinger's car is they don't know a whole lot about it. That's a brand new race car that they brought to the track this week. The 42 employees at Colleague Racing, along with the body shop and chassis shop at Richard Childress Racing, took about a month and a half to put this car together and get it ready for the playoffs. Team President Chris Rice told me it's new. We'll see how it goes. Right now they're gathering information, and AJ's kind of been all over the board in terms of how he feels about it tonight. Still running third, though.
Yeah, in a good position. A.J. Allmendinger, surprisingly, when colleagues said we're going cup racing, A.J. said, no, I want to run in the Xfinity Series. Having a lot of fun doing it as we go NASCAR nonstop. Allgaier has pulled away to a 1.2-second lead over Austin Cindric, holding on to the second spot. A.J. Allmendinger, another second behind him, currently in third. The only driver outside the top 10 right now that's involved in the playoffs that's not out of the race is Harrison Burton, who currently running in that 12th position and has had an ill-handling race car really since the start of the second stage. We'll get a few more updates. We start with Dave.
I'm watching the progress of Noah Gragson because for the second time tonight he's from the back of the field with a pit road penalty. Talking with his crew chief Dave Ellens today, He told me he knows what he has to do, which is execute and not make mistakes, but that's not been the case for Gragson tonight. Drove through too many pit boxes early, penalty to the rear. Speeding the last time down pit road, penalty to the rear. If he doesn't win this race, Kelly, he'll be kicking himself.
Another driver who's made a nice comeback is Brandon Jones in that 19. Remember, they had to come to pit road for a potential loose wheel, which had him set back somewhere around 22nd. Well, Brandon's back up in the top 10, and this is a team that feels like they've had a lot of speed in their car throughout the season, but they've just been mired with some bad luck and perhaps some bad decisions as well that have resulted in a number of DNFs. But right now, they're having a solid day and showing right there even on the cut line, Dave.
Kelly, it's interesting when you listen to what Harrison Burton had to say this week before the playoffs. He talked about not playing the game of being too careful. You've got to be aggressive, but to do that, well, today is the reality. You've got to have a race car you can do that with, and that loose race car from earlier has not come around yet. We'll see what happens as the temperatures continue to cool here, guys. It's pretty comfortable right now. Maybe the 20 will adapt to that by itself.
Track temperature changing. Again, full sun on this racetrack all day long. The start of the race, turns 1 and 2 were a little bit in the shade, but still very hot here. Over 90 degrees was the ambient temperature. And so a lot of track changes we saw earlier right before the race started. 102 inside the car for Daniel Hamrick. Now it's over 114 degrees inside of those race cars.
But it's a dry heat. Don't forget that.
Brad, the only reason you're saying that is because you're sitting in air conditioning right now.
I am, and it feels good too. It feels good.
Hamrick, we had mentioned, hasn't been to victory lane. This was a great opportunity. Finished second earlier this year here at Vegas. Had led plenty of laps, and now 7 seconds off of what Allgaier is setting as the pace. There's A.J. Allmendinger. He's in third. Ty Gibbs.
I was watching Ty Gibbs coming off turn 4 that last lap. He's been working Allmendinger pretty hard. He was sideways off of 4.
Jeff, that's we saw in turn 3. That car was sideways coming to the end of the stage, and even a little bit of smoke. Maybe just that tire smoke stayed underneath the car as he was going through 3 and 4, but we saw that. But it doesn't seem to have affected the race car. He doesn't look like he has any issues now. Right now running in that 4th spot. Josh Berry actually starting to challenge him from behind.
Talked about the 54 of Ty Gibbs, how loose he's been. Well, here he is. Look at the back of that car.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, that a little bit of everything going on there. Ty catching Allmendinger. Corner exit, the car doesn't have a lot of grip, and then that air comes off the car as he gets closer to Allmendinger, and it just makes it worse.
Tell you, to Dave's point, Jeff and I have been watching, Noah Gragson is just absolutely flying around this racetrack. I mean, he's been a tenth quicker than the field most of the time. He gets past Daniel Hamrick here. If he can keep that forward momentum going, that'll be an incredible comeback from those two pretty critical mistakes.
There's the season so far for Ty Gibbs.
Got to spin in 3. Got to spin in 3.
Come down the racetrack and makes it to the apron. Only a 1-car incident, it looks like.
Yeah, Justin Haley.
So the caution comes out one more time, and it's a playoff driver again.
Wow.
He was running in the 10th position, finished 10th. Has been top 10 last 13, 14 races.
Yeah, he was entering turn 3. You can see the car just comes around. I don't know if, you know, we don't have the shot early enough. Don't know if there's contact enough, but he had started backing up to the cars in front of him. Here he is getting, actually Moffitt tried to slide him.
Quarter, clear.
Oh, there's contact.
Right with you, hang on to another one, help me straighten it out.
Well.
So Brett Moffitt didn't appreciate that? Is that what we just saw?
Well, that's what it looks like. You know, and listen, Brett Moffitt has every right to this racetrack the way the other guys do, but, you know, you're not in the point championship.
You kind of hit us in the left rear, so you'll be able to see that better to me.
And to ship a guy getting into the corner pretty tough situation.
And the back bumper doesn't look affected there for Justin Haley, but he was definitely right on it if there wasn't contact made.
I'd like to see the whole lap or two before that
Something
incident.
happened. Yeah, something else happened.
Moffitt definitely just shipped him in there.
So this is the 6th caution. We had mentioned that you wouldn't be able to make it all the way on fuel. Now it'll be under 80 laps to go in the race. Still outside that fuel window. There's Moffitt in the 0-2. He scored 11th. And on to pit road they come. Kelly.
And you can see everyone's going to be a taker for some fresh Goodyear tires, including the 22 of Austin Cindric, who said he just needs a little bit more rear security, but has asked his crew chief not to hurt his forward turn. Below him, you see the 7 of Justin Allgaier getting a little adjustment. He said he was a little bit free all over the racetrack, but he could certainly handle it and felt like they have a good car on the long run, Dave.
AJ Allmendinger, bottom of your screen, said you made the rear better, but it's kind of dancing around. They're going to help the turn of the car by that traditional tape on the nose, covering up part of the grille so it's solid instead of air passing through it. And they'll take air pressure out of both rears to try to help the driver at the 16.
Coming off of pit road, a busy location there. As Allgaier and Cindric stay 1 and 2, Gibbs grabs a spot and Allmendinger loses 1. Noah Gragson gaining 2 spots on pit road. Hamrick staying in that 6th position. We'll be back for the restart.
Kind of a chicken move he did there at the end.
Chase Elliott is not happy with Kevin Harvick.
Does that every week, tries to run into you and get a flat tire.
We're racing for the freaking win at Bristol when he throws a temper tantrum.
You in the 9, give me 10.
The 4 got into the side of the 9.
He's mad, but I don't know why he's mad at us.
I don't care who he is or how long he's been doing it. I'm gonna stand up for myself and my team.
I'm ready to rip somebody's freaking head off.
This sets the tone for the rest of the playoffs. So round 2 starts tomorrow, guys.
Man, can you believe this?
Does that continue?
Yes, it continues. Heck yeah. It might not happen before our eyes like we think it will, but it's going to happen throughout the day where those guys are going to be around each other. You pay each other back just a little bit, maybe get in each other's way just a little bit. Heck yeah, it's going to continue. Can't wait.
I think what got overshadowed in that whole thing is the move that was made at the end of the race when Harvick got past. I mean, no one's talking about Larson's move on Harvick and how aggressive that was.
That was pretty good, too.
I mean, that was an aggressive move, and, you know, I think there's a lot of guys upset at each other.
So it's going to be interesting. And again, the round of 12 starts tomorrow for the Cup Series. As we're getting ready for the choice that these drivers get to make, either inside or outside line. You go across the start-finish line. And that arrow right there. Top 2 are going to choose the top line. The next 2 choose the bottom line. So on and so forth, as Allgaier and Gibbs will start on the front row. Then it's Cindric and Allmendinger making up row 2. And a little bit further back there in row 3 is Daniel Hamrick, Dave.
Still trying to get his first win, Rick, and that tonight would put him through the next round of the playoffs. Some good information from crew chief Dave Rogers right here.
We were losing 80% of our speed in 1 and 2, and you made some adjustments, and you were beating everybody through there. At the end of the run, our weak spot was 3 and 4. But of the last 7 laps, you were P1, 5 of them. Nice adjustment on your part there.
How about that, giving the driver a little praise for doing what he could do to adjust the race car on the track.
Yeah, not only that, but letting him know, it was working. Like whatever you were doing there was positive. Now he can put that in the bank and understand exactly what changes he can make moving forward as he deals with challenges with his car.
And that's what Daniel Hamrick needs right now, because Daniel Hamrick has finished second so many times, 9 times now. Yeah. He needs that positive affirmation saying, you can do this. You were the fastest car on the racetrack.
Yeah, he's confident enough, but just that, like I said, that reinforcement of that affirmation gives him that little bit of extra to push the car a little bit harder, and himself.
Coming up to the restart zone, it's Allgaier on the outside, Ty Gibbs on the inside. Three wide into one.
3 wide, my goodness.
Shaking it out. Here comes Ty Gibbs once again, looking to the inside of that 22, but the momentum's going to carry him past. So Cindric will get by, move up to second. Now Allmendinger in the 16, just behind that 54, will look to the inside. But it's Gregson on the outside that's going to take advantage of that high line and the momentum.
On these restarts, it's almost like if you can maintain your position, for the first 6-8 laps of the run, things start to spread out just a little bit, and you can pull away because the air gets so much cleaner, but you've got to get to those 6 to 8 laps.
Well, this 9 car, he keeps inching his way closer to the front. We've seen him be able to drive up through the field, but it's not quite the takeoff speed he needs right now.
How about Josh Berry in the 1, also making his way toward the front?
What a cool story with Josh Berry. I know there's a lot of late model drivers at Martinsville tonight, but glad he's here because he would be having a good night there. Right after the restart, Allmendinger tries to sneak in this hole in front of Gregson, and boom, little contact with the wall. I don't think any damage there. Remember, I said it earlier, these composite bodies are pretty tough. Move around, don't have tire cut problems like you do on the cup side.
He's saying look at the right side, he hit the wall, he hit it really hard.
Team followed up and told him just a lap ago, it looks fine now. They took a look at it from the spotter stand and when he came by on the front straight.
Yeah, the letters are worn off the right side of the tires there for A.J. Allmendinger, as Josh Berry's going to go back by.
You wonder if it, not a tire cut, but could it take a little performance out of that car?
Now Berry with the momentum. Got to the back tire, the back bumper of Ty Gibbs, and looks to the inside now to try to take that position away.
Wow, what a great run by Josh Berry. Gets a little loose as Ty Gibbs forces him down to the white line, but he's got that thing on a rail, man.
Old Ty, what he lacks in experience, he makes up for in aggressiveness. He just rolled right on down there with Josh. Just sidetracked the heck out of him. Slowed him down, and Allmendinger's like, yeah, I like that move. I'm going to take advantage of it, too.
So Allmendinger, once again, will set his sights on Ty Gibbs. And Gibbs trying to hold him off. Dave.
And you see Gibbs will go to that low line and try to protect against Allmendinger, who just told his team over the radio, by the way, I can't carry that kind of speed into the corner. How about speed off the corner? Look at this, Rick. He's going to try him down to the inside, and this is a good battle now. Here comes Josh Berry as well.
Josh Berry's going to shove that 16 to the inside. They will both clear the 54 here, it looks like, as the 54 up the racetrack. Now Berry not able to complete the pass.
Well, Berry, see what he's doing? He saw how aggressive Ty Gibbs was on him, so he's like, okay, we're going to play that game. I'm going to take all the racetrack from you. Shoved him up the racetrack, getting into turn 1. A little bit of contact there. That was Josh Berry just saying, look, bud, you side draft me, you're going to get it back.
And we heard drivers, Noah Gragson actually made the comment earlier to us. He said, I have a little more respect for these drivers knowing that we're in this for the long haul. Well, think about the driver of the 54 and the driver of the 1. They're coming back to run full seasons next year. They're going to race against each other every single race. Great battle for the lead here as Cindric able to clear the 7, but let's see if Allgaier's got the momentum on the outside. He's loose.
Listen, this in the last lap, Cindric made up a ton of time on Allgaier. Wonder what's going on if Allgaier's dealing with an issue, but Cindric was 4 or 5 car lengths back and just all of a sudden made a huge run on him.
I'll run it back down, no worries.
There you hear Allgaier cell running back down, don't worry. And you wonder if it was just a bobble, an ill handling car in the corner that lost that momentum and allowed the 22 to get by. Can he put together the laps to get back by the 22? Allgaier's falling back.
Look at the line Cindric's running. Enters really high, right against the wall. Knows Allgaier's going to get underneath him in the middle of the corner, but doesn't care because of the speed it gains him on this front straightaway.
Allgaier again to the bottom of the racetrack, and way up high is the 22 of Cindric. Gap stays the same. Cindric, Allgaier, Allmendinger, the top 3 in the playoffs. Running top 3 here in Vegas.
Well, look at Noah Gragson up on the wall, just digging around the rim of that wall, trying to find a little bit of speed and grip.
Josh Berry coming into the picture here in that 4th position as he puts a little bit of pressure on A.J. Allmendinger. Out front, it's Cindric. We'll go NASCAR nonstop. You won't miss a thing. You saw it all in NASCAR nonstop. It was the 7 of Justin Allgaier taking the lead away from the 22. Here's how it happened.
Made it look easy. He said, hey, I'll go get him back.
Yeah, something must have happened to the 7 and just, I don't know, he just lost a little bit of momentum for a second, but he easily came back and passed back.
And now Josh Berry is up here in striking distance, as he was able to get by Allmendinger, who has fallen 2 spots back. Berry trying to take second away from Cindric. Cindric moves to the inside to do the crossover, see if he can get the position back. And now lap traffic coming into play.
Cindric trying to get up the racetrack a little bit, trying not to get stuck behind that lap traffic. Now they're approaching more lap traffic.
Side drafting, and look at this. Noah Gragson right into the picture. Big run there for Josh Berry. And Berry clearing for second. Now, Allgaier has been out front over 72 laps. That's the most he's ever led here at Vegas. 3 of the top 4, all junior motorsports drivers. Dave.
Yep, and Noah Gragson overcoming 2 pit road penalties today. Fantastic run for him, and it was noted by another team or 2 that he's one of the first guys to go up and try that high line. You see him using the low line as well, but he's one of the drivers who believes there may be some speed up there, and you'll see the driver migrate back up that direction. I don't know, he's all the way to 4th. He'll use any part of the track he needs to.
It's worked to this point. He has been caught for speeding on pit road and has battled back from that. Now running in the top 4, chasing after Allgaier.
Interesting conversation this weekend, or this week rather, with Noah, talking about how he's mellowed out this latter part of the year. You know, he was in a lot of confrontations with a lot of drivers and didn't really seem to care, you know, almost relished it, but he took a step back and realized, look, I got to race these guys all year long. Maybe I need to show them a little more respect, and then hopefully they'll show me some respect. And you know, he talked to a lot of other drivers. They're like, hey, we're cool with Noah. It's all good. And I think that's just some of Noah growing up and learning that, you know, you can't treat every lap like it's the last lap. You got to deal with these drivers throughout the whole year. And that maturing of Noah Gragson, he has speed, is going to make him a better race car driver.
They're inside their pit window. That was about 60 to 65 laps was the pit window for fuel. Every team should have another set of tires when they come to pit road. And Allgaier out front, that's going to put a lot of pressure on these teams, especially if we stay green. And you put that much pressure on right now, teams that are separated by just 1 second. The driver has to hit pit road perfectly. The crew has to do everything perfectly to get him back off of pit road, because that second goes away very quick on pit road if you make one little mistake. Big run here for A.J. Allmendinger as he's trying to close the gap on Ty Gibbs in front of him. Been on track 26 laps since the last time they were on pit road, as they've spread out a bit. Hamrick running in that 7th spot. We've noticed that Myatt Snyder has dropped back to 15th. Harrison Burton running in the 12th position. Those are the only 2 drivers that are actually still on the racetrack in the playoffs that are outside the top 10 right now.
Watching both of these guys, it just seems like neither one can get any forward momentum going. It just looks like the 2 and the 20 both are struggling tonight. Don't know what it is, but they're just really mediocre at best, and that's just not typical.
And the 2 had good speed a few runs ago. He looked like he was going to have a good night, but this run here, he just doesn't have any speed at all.
Myatt Snyder, our broadcast partner, Marty, his father. But he told us that the family, actually his grandfather, was involved in racing early on when he was supplying cars. He had a dealership, a Rambler dealership, and was supplying cars for drivers in the Cup Series and Xfinity Series. Jimmy Llewellyn used to race and would get cars from the Snyder family. Dave.
Yeah, and I've been following Myatt here, trying to figure out what's wrong with the car. Just listen to some recent radio between Andy Street, his crew chief, and Myatt.
He's everything's over rotating everywhere. I'm trying my hardest to make this thing work, but I'm down and out right now, and I'm trying to get myself back up, but this car's down and out.
I'm down and out. The car is down and out. They need one more adjustment. Guys, what do you think? Are they going to get to pit road and get a chance to do that?
Well, they'll definitely have an option to come to pit road, do as much changes or adjustments to that car that they can. Right now, it's Allgaier out front. We'll stay NASCAR nonstop. You won't miss anything. The gap continuing to close between the 7 of Allgaier and the 1 of Josh Berry. Berry, could he steal a win away from one of these playoff drivers?
So impressed with Josh Berry. Late model racer, works on his own race cars, drives the heck out of them. Then jumping into this Xfinity Series, guys, it's so difficult. No practice. Just roll up in here and go get you some, and it's such a challenge, and he's answered the call, Kelly.
He told me that he feels like these intermediate tracks is where he needs to do the most improving, but he just said about the car, he said it's good. I'm just trying not to make the tires mad like I did on the last run. And then he followed that up with, if y'all had a little bit better driver in here, we'd be leading right now, but instead he is closing on his teammate, Justin Allgaier.
I think they like the driver they got. I don't think they're looking for a different one.
He's pretty sporty. I agree with you on that.
Allgaier staying about 6 car lengths in front of the 1. But think about when are the teams going to start talking about green flag pit stops? When do you come? You're inside the window as we see Noah Gragson going by Cindric. Cindric using that high line to keep the momentum up.
Cindric going to try to get, he is going to get to the right side of the 9 car. It's just such a difficult pass. See right here, Noah drives it way deep in the corner. Going to try to slide up in front of Cindric, but Cindric has good forward momentum. He's going to cross him over, and he's going to cross him over with enough pace to take whichever lane he wants. If he wants to go to the top, he can go to the top. If he wants to stay at the bottom, he can stay on the bottom. Noah said, hey, man, appreciate you staying on the bottom. That's exactly what he wanted.
I'll take this top line as you see the gap between 1 and 2. Now 2 car lengths. So Allgaier under attack from Josh Berry for the lead at Las Vegas. Oh, and up the racetrack. Allgaier has to catch it. Josh Berry takes the air off the back of the car. Berry out front in Vegas.
This is not a fluke, guys. I mean, we've been watching Josh Berry. His lap times, I mean, he is the fastest car on the racetrack, has been the last 10, 12 laps. He is absolutely motoring around this place.
And gaining tons of experience for next year, guys. Remember, He wasn't supposed to be in this car. Unfortunately, Michael Annett still dealing with those leg injuries. See right here, this pass, look how far back Josh Berry is from Allgaier, down the back straightaway. Get into turn 3. Josh can carry more speed to the center. Both of them locked on that white line. Josh is able to stay on that white line just a little bit further, and now he starts gaining momentum on him on the front straightaway. Watch Allgaier as he enters turn 1. Josh Berry turns just a little bit before him, stacks that air. Now, see right there, the car wiggled just a little bit. Now Josh Berry's in control. He was close enough to take the air from that 7 car. And the minute you saw it wiggle, Josh Berry high-fived himself, said, "This spot's mine, Kelly."
Justin Allgaier knew that he was starting to struggle with that right rear tire, perhaps leaning on it a little too hard. So after the pass by Josh Berry, his spotter, Eddie DeHaan, came over and said, "All right, cool that right rear tire down and then go after him again." And Justin just now giving some more feedback over the radio. It sounds like he might be a little bit free.
Yeah, Kelly, I think he just doesn't have enough rear grip to take the fight to Allgaier. Just doesn't have enough to lean on.
Right now, 17 cars on the lead lap. Kyle Weatherman, the final car on the lead lap, trying to stay there in front of Josh Berry. We see Cindric and Ty Gibbs fighting for the spot. Cindric able to hold on to it for now, as Gibbs back in 5th. Hamrick is 6th. Allmendinger 7th. Haley, Brandon Jones, Ty Dillon the top 10. Dave.
And Rick, team's starting to talk about maybe 5 laps or so when they get into the pit window here. So we'll see what the 22 of Cindric and the 54 of Gibbs do. Crew Chief Chris Gale for that green car will bring the young 18-year-old to pit road at some point here. And when I asked him what things Ty needed to work on, having won 3 times already this year in this series, he goes, "You know what? There's a lot of stuff we can do." He's running full-time in the ARCA series this year. That's the main focus for Ty Gibbs. But next year, it's wide open. Big smile on the crew chief's face as he thinks this driver has nothing but upside going forward.
You know, something that might be a little bit of a surprise for these guys is the possibility of a green flag pit stop. It's very rare that these guys have to make green flag pit stops, normally based upon the stage lengths or how cautions come out. But they're looking like this could be green flag pit stops for these teams.
And that is a huge challenge for these drivers. You know, if you're here practicing on a Friday, you're going to practice getting on pit road. You're going to understand where you lift in order to make your pit road speed where it needs to be, so you're not speeding when you get to that line. But you don't get to do that with no practice. So you're going to be live under fire. If this goes and you do have to pit on the green and someone doesn't get a speeding penalty, I'm going to be extremely impressed, Kelly.
It's one of the things that Justin Haley, driver of the number 11, told me has been so valuable about running the Cup Series this year. Remember, he's been in that Spire Motorsports machine, and he said, "We never do green flag pit stops, but I do them on the Cup side, and I've learned so much from that." He said even his own teammate, A.J. Allmendinger, pointed out that he hadn't made a green flag stop here at Las Vegas in years. So Justin Haley has that experience. He'll get it again tomorrow when he races in the Cup car, but that could pay dividends in a circumstance like this.
Kelly, I think that's a great point. The one thing you got to be careful of for Justin is that those Cup cars at 1.5 miles with all of that downforce, those great big spoilers and all that, they're going to slow down much quicker and much easier than one of these Xfinity cars, and that little bitty spoiler across the back. So Justin can't carry the same speed to pit road in this car as he does in a Cup car.
It's been 5 races since the Xfinity Series has had a green flag pit stop. It was back in Michigan. So it's been a while for a majority of these drivers to experience a green flag pit stop, and they're coming up as we have just 33 laps remaining in this race. Josh Berry out front by 2.7 seconds over Justin Allgaier. Noah Gragson back there 5.6 seconds back. Ty Gibbs and Austin Cindric in the top 5. Hamrick back 10 seconds from race leader Josh Berry.
So if you're at home wondering why, you see right here, the 1 could lap the 2 car of Myatt Snyder. Myatt Snyder, a playoff driver. There he goes, a lap down. But if you wonder why is it so hard, why would it be hard to get on pit road? It's not, if you're not worried about how fast you do it, right? And all week long, these crew chiefs work with the drivers about getting on the pit road quickly to carry as much speed as you can. So what you have to do is you have to drive as far as you can into turn 3, decide when to start slowing down, get the car into second gear so that you get your RPMs, because there is no speedometer in the car. The only thing you get to do is read the RPMs, and that's in second gear. You got to get the car slowed down to do that and to get it in the RPM so you can read it. And it's so easy to carry too much speed. And they're all pushing you. Go, man, go. Get us more, get us more. Because if you get on pit road 3 seconds slower than someone else, that's the same as having a pit stop 3 seconds off.
That's the gap between Berry and Allgaier right now. If you're 3 seconds slower, that gap goes away.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see who the first driver to come on to pit road is. I mean, the negative to coming on pit road early is caution comes out and you get caught a lap down. But with only 14 cars in the lead lap right now, that's not a huge penalty. So I look at a car like Harrison Burton that is not run well today. He has had reasonable speed the last 15 laps or so, but he's lost a lot of ground to leader. See Noah Gragson just touching the wall. Brandon Jones, Justin Haley, Ty Dillon, those guys might get a huge advantage by pitting early.
If you're the leader, if you're Josh Berry, you stay out until the end of your pit window as far as run it out of fuel?
I'm not. If I'm Josh Berry, I'm not the first one on pit road. He's pulled out to a 3.5 second lead. Like, you don't want to be the last guy on pit road, but what you're queuing off of is if Allgaier pits or Noah pits, then the next lap, I think that's when you would need to pit. But right now, look at the gap he's got. He's got 3.5 second lead, so I just don't see the need for Josh Berry to be the first one on pit road. I wish Steve was here.
Why is that? You don't want to do the math?
Oh, no, there's no math.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not doing math.
So you think about it, 6 of the last 8 races here, guys, had a final green run less than 15 laps. So it's critical. It's just critical. You can't make that mistake on pit road. You got to come in. Everybody's got a set of tires left. It's just critical.
But those crew chiefs also are using that information, saying, well,
7 more here, about 7 more.
tendency is there's a caution late in this race.
Right.
And so you don't want to, like Jeff said, get caught on pit road. Well, ultimately, if you were on pit road and the caution came out, it wouldn't be bad. But you don't want to get caught just pitting and then the caution coming out.
A lot of conversation about oil coming out of that car. Well, look at the very back of that car now compared to earlier in the race. Look how dirty it is.
Yep.
There is something happening right there. You hope they haven't, run a little more out of rear end grease or something like that. You hope that's not a problem, but certainly the back of that car has gotten really dirty.
Little side-by-side here as they're passing that lap traffic. Go by Josh Williams in the 92. And a few on pit road. Kelly?
And that's playoff contender Brandon Jones coming to pit road. Trying to recover after they had that loose wheel earlier. He says the car feels like it wants to wreck in 1 and 2, but then it's the exact opposite in turns 3 and 4. We'll see the chassis adjustment there and 4 Goodyear tires.
See a little smoke, a little fire on that right front. That's just rubber burning off. No big deal.
For you as a race car driver, it's no big deal. Sitting up here in
Especially
the booth,
up here.
it's no big deal. As Josh Berry continuing to lead here, and we're starting to see some green flag pit stops take place.
Yeah, I have a feeling with that with the 19 coming down pit road, I just think that's going to start to drag a few others.
They haven't come wholesale. We've got another one making the left turn onto pit road now.
Josh Berry's done such a great job, as well as we've chronicled. And can he get onto pit road? What kind of stop can he make on pit road? Like I say, no experience at this at all. Not a lot of expectation, a lot of pressure, a lot of learning.
That is a great point. Now, to the point that was made earlier, you see the 7 car on pit road.
So Allgaier second has come to pit road. Kelly.
Yeah, and as you can imagine, he'll be eager for some fresh Goodyear tires. That right rear was just basically killed, so he said he just kept getting looser and looser, was really trying to work on his line. You see a chassis adjustment there for Justin Allgaier as well, but he was really trying to figure out the fastest way around the track on that last run, Dave.
Ty Gibbs in the 54 hits his marks. That's the driver's job. His car needs to be tighter. You see the wrench going in the rear window. That is track bar down to help that 4 Goodyear tires. Sunoco fuel. Daniel Hamrick is on pit road as well. He said his car was loose running the high line in 3 and 4. They'll make an air pressure adjustment for the 18 when he comes to pit road. And that would be now. See the driver of the 18 coming in. Veteran driver Daniel Hamrick. Remember, spent a year in the Cup Series. Learned a lot about green flag stops there. This should be a strong point for him, Kelly.
And that's Austin Cindric in the 22. He said it was his right front tire that was killed at the end of that run, and he was also building tight throughout that last run.
Ty Gibbs in the 54 came to pit road. Too fast entering. It's difficult to do, Dave.
No, that's the other thing he's got to learn, Rick. One of the many things you've got to learn for green flag pit stops. Harrison Burton appears to have hit his marks perfectly. Hopefully his speed was correct as well. His car is way too loose. Needed an adjustment for that. The 9 of Noah Gregson comes to pit road now. 2 penalties on pit road so far today. Can they nail it on the last one? Gregson will get 4 tires and fuel. He said the car is skatey in the middle and he needs rear grip. And as for A.J. Allmendinger, his car way too tight no matter where he runs it. In fact, he said, I've never had a car that's felt so tight on the exit of the corner as I have with this one, Kelly.
And that's the leader, Josh Berry, who has brought the #1 car to pit road. Pretty happy with it, as you can imagine, especially running up front there in clean airs. And we'll see what he can do on this final stint with 4 fresh Goodyear tires.
And we're going to take a look at what happens with Josh Berry and Justin Allgaier. They're running 1 and 2. Allgaier came to pit road earlier. We'll see how they blend back out onto the racetrack. Who did better as far as driver and crew? There's the 7.
Remember, Berry had almost a 4-second lead on this 7 car, but they pitted the 7 about 3 laps before the 1 car.
And right on by. The 7 of Allgaier is going to clear the 1 of Josh Berry. And getting to pit road just a little bit sooner helped out Allgaier. Haley still out on the racetrack. Has not come to pit road. Myatt Snyder also still on the racetrack. Those are the only 2 that have not made their final stops. Now it looks like Haley on pit road. He'll make his final stop. And we'll go NASCAR nonstop. You won't miss a thing. Less than a car length separating the top 2. Here comes Josh Berry trying to take the lead back away from Allgaier.
Well, Josh Berry's done an outstanding job. He can make this pass. Welcome to the big time.
Josh Berry once again in front in Vegas. Now coming up on 16 laps to go. Berry has won at a short track. Can he win at an intermediate track? Again, not running the full season. Started the year off with Junior Motorsports. Only ran half the season. That was planned. That's all they had in sponsorship for Josh Berry. Then he ran sparingly for other teams, trying to get a ride after that Martinsville win. And now it's announced that he will be back with Junior Motorsports for a full season next year to run for a championship, and he's pulling away from Allgaier. Less than 15 laps to go. Berry, Allgaier, Gregson, Brandon Jones, Daniel Hamrick. Again, Brad, you mentioned tendencies have shown that 15 laps is normally the longest green flag run at the end of the race here at Las Vegas. So the possibility for a caution still out there, still lingering.
Yeah, the intensity ratchets up, and guys start searching, start trying to find those extra, the extra ability to go forward, to get some space, and mistakes start happening. So we're within that window.
Hamrick's going to go by the 19 of Brandon Jones. We go NASCAR nonstop. .4-second lead for Josh Berry out in front here at Vegas, coming up on the final 10 laps of racing in this first race of the playoffs. Josh Berry, I think, is going to surprise a lot of people here, especially playoff drivers, as he pulls away from them. I think another surprise in the playoffs has been Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones came to pit road a little bit earlier. He was below the cut line when the playoffs started. Came in the 10th position, 5 points below the cutoff line. Now Brandon Jones above the cutoff line by 10 points.
Well, I love the call to get him on pit road before everybody else. They were, you said it, they weren't running very well. Got him on pit road, got those new tires. They got a great pit crew on that team, and all that collectively is going to help him gain some spots here. Just a really, really good call. And Jeff Minderen recognizing the situation they were in and just saying, you know what, we got to do something a little different than everybody else. And 3 or 4 spots could be the difference between making the next round of the playoffs or not.
The other thing that happened with the 19 team, and when we talked to Brandon Jones earlier this week, he said it's not something that their former spotter was doing wrong, but they wanted to shake up and change the dynamic of the team, and so they changed spotters. And so now Drew Herring is spotting for Brandon Jones, and maybe that dynamic has changed things on this team right now, because right now it's Brandon Jones in that 6th position and looking stronger here at the start of the playoffs.
Drew Herring, you talk about the spotter. He spots for Martin Truex Jr. on Sundays, and he's a former driver. Really good race car driver. And just a little bit different information coming to Brandon Jones. And listen, spotters don't make the car go fast.
Right.
They don't. The spotter doesn't make the car go around the racetrack. But what it does do is provide information. A lot of times the most important job the spotter can do is provide information to the team. Like, here's what I'm looking at. Here's what I'm seeing. Although the driver may not be able to communicate it as well as the spotter can see it sometimes. This is where we need speed. This is where we got to get better.
Josh Berry out in front. Remember, in the playoffs, if you're a part of the playoffs, you win, you advance to the next round. Well, if Josh Berry comes in here, not a part of the playoffs, wins this race, that opportunity for an automatic spot into the next round, it's taken away.
Well, Josh Berry, you see right there how much his car moved around, like a big wiggle getting into turn 3.
And we can't say enough about Josh Berry and the job he has done in his first year in the Xfinity Series. He's been with Junior Motorsports for almost a decade, but it was at the late model local track level. He went and won a national championship a year ago. Junior Motorsports, Kelly, Dale Jr., everyone there in the executive area said, you know what, this guy deserves an opportunity. Let's give him a shot at this level, at the Xfinity Series level. And they gave him a shot. And Josh Berry came out and has performed. Like I said, won at Martinsville at a short track. They didn't have the full season scheduled for him, but now he will run a full schedule in 2022.
4.3 seconds back.
Kelly.
And remember, this is essentially a bonus race for him as he fills in for Michael Annett. And one of the things that Josh was so excited about is to return to Las Vegas Motor Speedway with the same organization, the same team. He felt like this would be a really good measure for how he's improved. We said when he came here for the first time ever in March, everything came at him so quickly, so fast. It was just a lot going on. He said we ran okay and had a pretty good finish. So he was really excited to see what he could do now that he is more comfortable and more confident. And boy, is he ever taking advantage of the opportunities that are coming his way.
That's right. I mean, you take advantage of an opportunity. Here's a 30-year-old from Tennessee that he gets to fill in for a driver who's recovering, and now all of a sudden he takes that car and potentially is going to be able to park it in victory lane.
Well, Brad, how many times do we see in sports a player goes down and somebody else steps in and takes advantage of that moment, and you hate it for the guy that goes down, but it creates an opportunity to step up. We see it in sports all the time. It's a great example right here tonight.
Great example. Another great example is Tom Brady having that opportunity to step up and go on to become the greatest ever. And Josh Berry, like I said, we've chronicled it throughout the night. He's taken advantage of an incredible opportunity, and he's doing what he needs to do. And I'm going to tell you, this is outstanding, this performance by this young man.
1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. Now coming up on less than a mile remaining here in the Alsco uniform 302. Down the backstretch for the final time for Josh Berry, looking for his second win ever in the Xfinity Series. Earlier this year, he did it on a short track at Martinsville. Now he has definitely shown the field he can win on an intermediate. Josh Berry wins in Vegas.
1, 2, 3 finish.
Wow.
For Junior Motorsports. First time ever.
Did not see this coming. Tell you what.
Hey guys, great job.
You know what's funny is we were on pit road before the race, and Dale Jr.'s like, we're never good here. We won one time here, that's it. First, second, and third.
First, second, and third.
And more importantly, Josh Berry just took away a lot of momentum for some guys who are trying to win a championship.
Yep.
Big time.
Yeah, and also remember, if you're a playoff driver, a win gives you 5 playoff points, which you can move those all the way through the next round as well and get you potentially to the championship 4. But those go away because Josh Berry just stole the win. You see Annett still on the side of the car. Josh Berry filling in for Michael Annett tonight, and that team celebrating. You see there was some contact all around the one. A little bit of tire mark.
Tell you what, this guy has superstar written all over him. Paid his dues. We've, like I say, talked about it ad nauseum, but it's just impressive to come in here with no practice, no seat time at this racetrack, none of that stuff, and just go out and just take it to him. I mean, he got better as the race went on. They did a great job of adjusting throughout the race, and lo and behold, he's the fastest race car on the racetrack the last 50 laps. Brings her home to victory lane. Congratulations, outstanding.
When he was driving the 8 earlier this year, he raced here in Vegas. He finished 7th in that race. But now to come in a substitute role and take this #1 car to victory lane and lead the 1-2-3 finish of junior motorsports. Really an amazing performance today.
Can't wait till next year. It's going to be fun to watch this young man.
All smiles.
Wow.
As he gets ready to climb out of the car.
Good folks back in Tennessee are excited to see the local short track heroes step up here with the big boys and put it on them.
Reminiscent of Ric Flair there. The woo when he gets out of the car. Kelly's down there with him.
As Josh Berry gets unhooked, ready to celebrate his second career Xfinity Series win. And he leads the way for a junior motorsports 1-2-3 finish. Dale Jr. and Kelly Earnhardt are going to be happy tonight. But not as happy as this guy. Josh Berry told me earlier today these 1.5 mile tracks were the place he needed to make the most improvement. But you've gone out there and bettered them all, so what do you say now, Josh?
Oh my gosh, that thing was so fast. It just took me a while to figure it out. I knew the race would go down to the bottom at the end, I felt like, so I just wanted to really work hard and make sure my car ran good on the bottom. And I just had to stay disciplined and keep working on it. These guys made the right adjustments. And it was fast, man. I just finally got a long run and put everything together and was able to do it.
What was it like there racing against your own teammate and Justin Allgaier, who's in the Drivers' Championship? How was it balancing that as you made the passes to get around him?
Yeah, I know it's tough. Me and Justin have raced together a lot this year, and most of them he's got the better of me. Today we were able to get one, but this is cool. This moves the one car to the next round of the owners' points. That's really important to this group. They've worked so hard. They've been through so much. They deserve this. Pilot Flying J deserves this. All-State Peterbilt, TMC. I want to say hi to Michael at home and thank him and his group for trusting me to drive this race car. And, man, just everybody back at JRM. 1-2-3 finish, that's really cool. Like I said, the car was great. Just had to figure it out, and I just was finally able to do it. So I just want to say hi to my wife and my little girl at home. I don't know what time it is back home. She might be asleep by now. But I love you guys, and man, just thank you to all these fans for coming out here. Man, I wanted to win this race so badly tonight for this group, and we were able to do it.
Josh Berry, the winner here at Las Vegas.
Jeff, you see him a little emotional. It's tough to win these races. I mean, the fact that he has such limited opportunities and to do something like this is a tough thing to do, and you could tell it was emotional. That touched him.
Well, I think he appreciates so much the opportunity.
Yes.
It's such a difficult thing, and to get this opportunity, and short track racers around the world are pulling for Michael Annett because that's what they're looking. I'm sorry, pulling for Josh Berry because that is what they want their short track career to lead to. Is look, I'm winning on short tracks. Give me a shot. I can do it. And Josh Berry is showing them it can happen. It's showing them, man. Owners, give these short track drivers that are winning races, give them a shot.
Yeah, and let's think about his crew chief, Mike Bumgarner. He was with a young Kyle Busch at Hamrick back in the day. Great tutor for this young man. Great job by Josh.
What a night it is for the one team. They're going to celebrate. They're in the entertainment capital of the world, Sin City, Vegas. Yes, Josh Berry just won it.